Un kā pirmo runātāju es aicināšu Pedro Bizarro stāstīt par ilgtspējīgu pilsētu, attīstības rīku, un Pedro ir projektu vadītājs Eiropas vietējo pašvaldību un reģionu padomē.
Okay, good morning to you all. First of all, today we celebrate the 4th anniversary of the SDGs, so 25th of September, so happy SDG Day to all of you. Congratulations also to the Latvian Association of Local and Regional Authorities for organizing this such important event on the SDGs. And thank you so much for the invitation. It's also an honor to start after the chairman of the organization to present one of the initiatives that aims to support cities in implementing the SDGs in the ground, so what we call localizing the SDGs. My name is Pedro Bizarro, as you said. I work for the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, based in Brussels. CMR, the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, is the European association bringing together national associations of local and regional governments, which we have the honor also to have the Latvian Association. And our role is to influence EU legislation to make sure that it responds to the needs of local and regional governments in the ground. One of the initiatives that we have to promote and to assist local governments in the implementation of the SDGs is the reference framework for sustainable cities, which I'm going to present you today and which I'm responsible also to promote throughout Europe. A little bit of the background history of the reference framework so we are all in the same page. We call it from the localise Charter to the SDGs, because the reference framework results from the adoption of the localise Charter on European Sustainable Cities, which was adopted by the ministries during the German presidency back in 2007. After 1 year during the French presidency, the member states decided not only to have this vision, this common vision of what could be an European sustainable city, but also to develop a tool that could help cities implementing this vision. So there was a process of developing and testing. There were some 66 cities throughout Europe. I've been checking before coming, and I think it was Valmiera. I don't know if it's someone from Valmiera. Yeah, that was part of the testing period of the reference framework. And then there was a dissemination and promotion throughout Europe until 2014. In 2015, there was the adoption of the Pact of Amsterdam, which puts in place the European agenda for the urban agenda for the EU, which recognizes also the role of the reference framework in implementing and promoting the integrated approach toward the holistic approach to sustainable urban development. But we also had the chance to include the SDG framework, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, in our tool, which I'm going to explain you rightly after how it works. So now the tool is available for free, and it's promoted across Europe by the Council of European Municipalities and Regions. So as I was saying, it's an online free tool for self-assessment, so to help cities in the process of designing strategies or assessing their strategies against the European vision of sustainable cities, which includes 30 objectives across 5 dimensions, and the Sustainable Development Goals, which we will focus our presentation today. So the tool, it's flexible to use, so it can be used at any scale of the city, from the neighborhood level to a master plan or a more functional urban zone in terms of territorial development. But it can also be used at different stages of the planning process, from the design and assessment of the strategy, or during the implementation phase, or only the monitoring phase, depending on the phase that you are in terms of strategic planning and urban development projects. It's also a tool for capacity building in the sense that it promotes the integrated approach to sustainable urban development in the sense of vertical integration, so bringing global and European agendas to the local level and helping cities in implementing so, but also at the horizontal level. So what we promote is a work that should involve all the departments in the municipality, bringing an holistic approach to urban development, but also across sectors, so with local stakeholders and of course with citizens and their participation. What it can be used as well is to compare progress over time of the strategies, but also to work on peer learning and knowledge sharing, so different municipalities using the tool and a common language provided by the tool to learn from each other and understand what are the priorities given to the different SDGs and which actions they can put in place, and learn from the other municipalities also about different actions that they could put in place to achieve the SDGs. So now we have about 1,500 users, registered users. The tool is open to all stakeholders, so we have local authorities, regional authorities, but we also have universities using the tool, the private sector, which is also using the tool to assess their strategies and their work across 70 countries. So as the tool is free, obviously our focus is to promote it in Europe, but we have also local authorities and other users from other regions of the globe as well. So going directly how the tool works, the first thing is you have to create an account. You can go to our website and you can create an account for free. It's very easy to do so it won't take you a lot of time. You can identify whether you're a local authority or you are a university or other. And then we guide you through the process of assessing your strategy to implement the SDGs. So the first thing that you'll be able to do is to select the framework. So today we are focusing on the SDGs. And then what we will ask you to do is to assess your current strategies and your current projects in the ground against the SDGs. So for doing a self-assessment exercise, how do you think that your current strategies are contributing to the different SDGs, or what relevance is given to the different SDGs? So a kind of assessing, doing a baseline scenario and assessing where you are now. The second step is that we call check your actions, is to, once you have identified the relevance given to each SDG, is whether the specific actions that you are implementing on the ground, the specific projects that you have, are contributing to the different SDGs. And what the tool helps you to do is to understand whether there is a gap between the ambition that you have set to the SDG and the projects that you are implementing. Trying to understand whether you have met already your ambition to this SDG, or if there is some margin of improvement that you can still work on some actions with other stakeholders to do more to achieve this SDG. The second step is about monitoring, of course, extremely important. And what we provide is a portfolio of indicators suitable for the local level and aligned with the SDGs that you can choose to build or to design, to develop your own monitoring system according to your strategy and what you think is relevant. So the first step, as I was explaining, what we invite you to do is to rank from 1 to 4 the relevance given in your strategic plans to each SDG. And this is an example, and we invite you to do for all of the SDGs, and you'll get a graph, a radar map, a radar graph that will help you to understand in an easy way and for communication purposes as well, what is the profile of your city strategy. How, in terms of contribution or relevance, is your city strategy contributing to the different SDGs? This should launch also a brainstorming and discussion process within the local authority to understand if this profile responds to what you think it should be, or if you can adapt and improve your strategy also to be able to address all the SDGs in a proper way. There is no right or wrong. Of course, as we know, the SDGs cover many different areas, and depending on the local authority, depending on the starting point, on the country, some SDGs might be more relevant to some local authorities than others. The second step, as I was saying, is to add actions. So add the concrete actions depending on how the city strategy is organized. In some countries you have a strategic plan and then a land use plan. In others you have a strategic plan which is implemented through projects, different projects, or a strategic plan which is implemented through different actions. So according to that, to add the specific actions in the different domains that are contributing to each SDG, and also to self-assess, so according to your perception, what is the contribution, the relevance, the importance of this project to the SDGs. The third step about monitoring, you can choose indicators, all the information, the methodology of calculation, the indicator sheet is available online. We have a collection of indicators from different sources at European and international level, which are suitable for, of course, the local authorities to use. They are aligned with the SDGs, so it's a proposal that you make and a portfolio that you can choose from. In terms of process, so what we suggest in terms of methodology, which of course can be adaptable according to the reality and the organization of the different local authorities, is to first to start with identifying a coordination team or one team leader, which is the one that is going to be responsible for this, and that will manage all the process in the tool. This can be composed of one team leader or a coordination team with, usually it can be the responsible for strategic planning. Sometimes it's someone of the cabinet of the mayor. It depends of how the local or the responsible for international affairs. So it depends how the local authorities are organized. It's a flexible way. And should also try always to involve all the representatives from different departments, so the responsibles from different departments. This coordination team is responsible for collecting all the information related with strategic plans, sectoral, or if it's a master plan, and to do the assessment in the tool, providing the first results of the assessment in terms of the profile of the strategy, and identifying potential gaps and potential improvements, ways of improvement for the strategy, which should be presented again to the local elected representatives and to the responsibles to different areas and staff also working in the different areas. The idea is to set a baseline scenario or do a context analysis, understanding how the local authority is currently contributing to the SDGs. Giving this perspective, this can be used also for communication with citizens and with other stakeholders. It will provide basically a current contribution of the municipality to the SDGs. Of course, you can take the step further, which is to improve your strategy. And here what we suggest is to organize meetings, workshops with other stakeholders, private sector, with citizens, trying to understand which actions, first, if this profile reflects the ambition of all the stakeholders in the city, but also identifying and collecting other ideas and other projects that can be done in an integrated and jointly way, to improve the strategy and improve the actions to the SDGs. So this should reflect an improved version of the strategy, an improved version of the SDG strategy, and should result then in a final strategy of the SDGs for the city. I brought you one example of one city that has done all the process and all the steps. So this is Saint-Fond. It's a city in France with about 20,000 inhabitants. So we always try to promote not only the big cities, we have capital cities in the tool, but we have also, and it's also our role to support and assist cities of all sizes. So it's about 20,000 inhabitants, local authority, and basically they use the tool to design an SDG strategy. So they decided in 2016 that they wanted to contribute to the global agenda and to implement or mainstream the SDGs into their local policies. So what they have first done is a first assessment of the current situation, in which they realized that 70% of the actions that they were putting in place in the local authorities were focusing only on 5 SDGs, meaning that only 30% were contributing to all the other SDGs, and that they should find a better balance on this. So they did an assessment of the current situation, and then they designed how the strategies should respond or where they want to be in 2030. So designing a kind of a scenario to 2030 in which there were new priorities emerging, new SDGs that they realized that they have to work, namely SDG 3 on good health and well-being, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. It's a very industrialized neighborhood, very industrialized city, and also responsible consumption and production. So they identify this as important SDGs that they need also to focus their efforts. So they have been able to do 3 thematic workshops. So they gathered SDGs in different topics, and they have organized 3 thematic workshops that involved a lot of stakeholders, private stakeholders, important in international companies that are established there, but also with citizens, where they identified these priorities, and they were able to collect about 400 contributions from partners, which they are at this point assessing all the contributions and how they can also implement them. I think it was very interesting to bring also you some highlights of the achievements, some conclusions that they had during this process. One was they have been able to develop trust and cooperation between all actors. So doing this work jointly with other stakeholders was a way of developing trust and building trust with other partners in the city, but also strengthen the integrated approach into projects. So they moved from a more sectoral approach, more sectoral projects, to better understand the links between each other and how to add the different benefits from one project to the others and find the interlinkages between them. And also, doing this, they were able to start developing also a new form of governance with citizens and stakeholders. Last but not least, I take also the opportunity to promote one event that we are organizing next year. So the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, with the support of our members, are organizing next year in May a Congress on the SDGs. The Congress will take place in Innsbruck. It will have different events and workshops, from strategic planning to monitoring to financing the SDGs, so doing international cooperation as well. So different and very interesting topics with very interesting speakers and participants. I'm sure that the Latvian Association will also be present, and I invite all of you also throughout our member to express also your interest in attending this event. It will be from 6th to the 8th of May, and you can find more information in our website.
I think I've been able to.
Okay. Thanks a lot for this very, very interesting and very precise presentation. You answered, I had a lot of questions during the presentation, but you answered to all of them. But I will ask the audience. Kolēģi, jautājums, varbūt kādu ļoti jauku, ātru jautājumu, Pedro, par šo rīku, kas tiešām ir izmantojams, tātad, lai varētu monitorēt šo mūsu virzību ilgtspējīgas attīstības virzienā, bet tai pašā laikā, es domāju, šo fantastisko iespēju šajā procesā veidot kopienu, runāt ar saviem ieinteresētajiem cilvēkiem, tāds vārds stakeholder, bet labi, runāsim par stakeholderiem, par ieinteresētajiem attīstībā un kopīgi arī mācīties, ja, un izdarīt labas lietas savai vietai, savai pašvaldībai. Ja, es skatos, varbūt ir ātrais jautājums. Ja nav, paldies liels!